So the Pontiac G8 just left, heading back to Ohio, 700-mile round trip. This is going to be a short little video about how we fixed the broken drive shaft carrier bearing and we put a new SOS exhaust on it. We cut and buffed the paint. We did some other things. Try to clean that car up and get it back to the customer. So check it out. This thing is super cool. Custom paint job, custom wheels, coilovers, slamming it on the ground. We've got to cut and buff the paint as well as install the Solo Performance 3-inch exhaust system while we're under here. So should be pretty cool. America. So let's look at the issues. So, being a northern car, you can see that upper stud is completely missing. And then over here, it's the lower stud that's completely missing. No mufflers. I think the muffler goes right here. Factory Y pipes. Looks like she got stainless steel headers. However, here is the problem. That's the drive shaft. So these cars are like an 05 to 09 Mustang. They got a two-piece drive shaft with a carrier bearing in the center. We're gonna have to drop the exhaust, drop the heat shield, and then we'll get in there and see what happened, because the customer states that they've already paid to have the carrier bearing replaced, but this one's broken too. So either it wasn't replaced or it wasn't done correctly, but that's where we come in, right? Let's get into it. The first step is probably gonna be to go ahead and get these tails off. They are in less than perfect shaped anyway, so we'll get those out of our way. We'll show you a special tool for these little rubber mounts right here. We got a tool that pops those right off, because those can be a bear. This is the tool you need if you're going to do a lot of exhaust work. These are exhaust hanger tools. They got a special little clip. This little part right here, you stick it right there and just squeeze. Pops it right off. There, see, even with the tool it can take a hot second, but that's way better than fighting it off with your hands. Well, she didn't put up much of a fight. Out with the old, right? And I ended up eating most of that one. Ugh. Freaking northern cars. Ugh. Gross. But we got it. Up here is just a tiny bit trickier. We got a set of aftercat O2s to disconnect. We have mounts here and 4 bolts. Oh, well, these were helping us out. They were coming off by themselves. You might need help. Yeah. Ooh. Ooh, good thing I'm skinny. Ooh. So, that's half the battle. So next we got to pull this heat shield down to get to that. You can really get a, I mean, that thing's moving up and down about an inch. Okay. Oh my gosh. It's completely broken. Completely broken out of the mount. Not good. So we'll have to pull those bolts, those two, pull those out. We'll get this thing on the ground, kind of see what's what, see what our options are with replacement. Dang, that thing is broke. This thing is definitely not stout enough for 400 horsepower. Look at that thing. Very thin metal, just snapped it. Alright, here's the hardest part. Boom! Look at that. Like a boss. Oh shit, now what? No, just kidding. Just kidding. So, you don't need this part. You need this part. All right, I simplified this so you didn't have to watch me go through all the hassle, but the O-ring on the end here, you get a new one of those. This piece slides right off. This is just some kind of shield. Then you've got a snap ring. Snap ring pliers, pop that out of the groove. Then it slides sort of right off. It slides right off the end, like so. You got a new one of those, you don't need that. Then, just put a screwdriver in here, hammered on either side of the bearing. It locked itself back on. I did have to beat on that a little bit more off camera, but this comes off. This is a polyurethane bushing, is why it broke other parts of the car. This is way too stout unless you go polyurethane, motor mounts, tranny mount, all that. So once you get all that apart, it's just a reverse order. Slide your new bearing on, make sure the orientation is correct. Freaking mosquitoes. After that, you just make sure you go back with bearing, snap ring, shield, new O-ring. Cool, cool. When you're about to install your bearing on your drive shaft, you want to make sure your orientation is correct. Well, if you go to put this in the car, it only fits one way. This will hit the trans tunnel if you put it in backwards. So make sure you get that orientation correct, and then we'll reassemble. So you just tap that on in a circle, being very careful not to hit the center part of the thing, and tap it on until you got a clear ring for the snap ring to go in, then you know you're done. New rubber O-ring for the end, new snap ring, new shield of some sort. I'm not sure what that does. Maybe keeps dirt out of there. I don't know. So So, let me bring you in here. So there you go, you can see up in there, snap ring is fully seated. Then it's time for the whatever this is. Now see, the old one just fell off. This one looks like it's gonna have to be persuaded back on, which is where the hammer comes in. So, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna grab a socket that fits on that like that. Maybe not so big to get it started. Unfortunately, I don't have a deep socket, but I probably do have a piece of pipe. And then we're going to pull this old O-ring off, put the new O-ring on, and that's pretty much it. You made your color marks. You've got your little rubber boot that was on there. Slide that back on all the way up. Zip tie is still loose, that'll be fine. And then the marks you made to keep everything in line, keep those straight. There you go. You're fully ready for reassembly now. Reassembly is just as simple as disassembly. So you will put your carrier bearing in, put your 2 bolts. Like I said, you'll notice it won't fit the other way if you get it backwards. 18mm bolts here. We'll have to roll the car forward a little bit to get this orientated right. You can see our double lines, single line, single line. We had everything marked so it goes back the way it came. You can see all our marks are in a row. So the heat shield is now in play. When you put your heat shield in, just make sure it's not riding on the drive shaft. They're really flexible. We bent this one down a little bit to give us plenty of room, just to make sure it doesn't vibrate, nothing rattles. I love that they give you holes to access the carrier bearing bolts, but you can't change it without taking that off. Also, inspecting the vehicle, found the rear sway bar disconnected back here. Have to snap that back on when we're putting that new custom exhaust in. So this exhaust kit we're using on the G8 today is from Solo Performance. They sent me a kick-ass t-shirt. They sent us a license plate bracket, and just like a good company, they sent us stickers. Most important part right there. Hey, you stop making noise? So, being an Ohio car, this thing is rotted pretty bad. It doesn't make any sense to spend the time to grind all this out and clean it up. So we just beveled the edge. We're gonna throw welds on. We're gonna weld this on. That way, if you ever want to change it, you just cut it off. And this being stainless, I doubt you'll ever have a problem here. Into the opening. Make sure we got what we need. Oh yeah, look at that. Ooh, I like it. We need to rotate it just a tiny bit. There we go. Once we're all final welded in, we can bend the tangs on the exhaust if we need to go up or down. We can fix the side-to-side rotation with the clamp that comes with it, so not too worried about that. We ended up welding ours in here due to the extensive corrosion from the northern car, but no issues at all. Fits really nicely, looks beautiful. Let's go ahead and fire it up and see how it sounds, right? Are you gonna fire it up?
Yeah.
All right, let's hear this monster. up a little bit.
It died.
All right, there you go. Not a very hard job at all. Great results. Car's running great. It made the trip home with no issues. Quick shout out to Solo Performance. That exhaust was amazing. Bolted right in, no problems. Also, AutoZone. Couldn't do this without them helping us out. We got a couple cool C10s to show you real quick, and then we're off to Power Tour. So make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss any of these videos and see what's going on out there in the world of hot rodding. Take care, guys.